Welcome, everyone. It's Trey Jadlow here on this 12th day of January 2023. And it looks like we've got round two with the Grotto crew.
Hell yeah. Hail Satan. What's up? And again, hey, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. We love having new guests on the Grotto Show, so let's get this Q&A rolling.
All right, so hold on just a minute. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm responding to you, Shannon.
All right.
You had made a comment on the video regarding my exchange with Michael, saying that I don't let other people talk. So I only give one side of the story. So I wanted to have this exchange with you to be able to allow you to share your perspective and to challenge mine as well. In fact, I think what I'll do is I will link. I've had a few conversations with you, and they're very charitable conversations, and I'll put those in the description here. And I'm just not quite understanding what it is about my interaction that I have not allowed people to share their perspective.
Well, on your YouTube, the recent one that you just did with Michael, there was been people who made comments that the comments were deleted. And so...
yeah, but that's not true. I've not deleted anything.
Really? Because we have people that have screenshots that show differently. So
okay,
I don't know.
Can you show them to me?
Well, I will be sure I can get that arranged. Not a problem. I will get that arranged, and I will be more than happy to present the evidence. That's just one of the reasons I figured you were editing the comments to kind of point towards your views. And
no,
I've interacted with people like that before, and it's BS. You can't have a decent conversation if it's just one-sided, right? I mean, you got to listen to everybody's point of view.
I agree with that. Do you feel like in your interactions with me that I'm the type of person that has tried to shut people down artificially?
Yeah, I've seen like there's been word choices put in there, inserted, and like past in the videos. In fact, like when we were talking about I was talking about trans rights, and then next thing you know, I was talking about apoptophilia. Sorry.
Oh, apotemnophilia. All right. Well, those are the ones I want to put in the description. But Shannon, I did not touch those videos and to edit them.
Well, I didn't say you were editing. I didn't say you were editing the videos themselves. I'm talking about when we were having a conversation, and when I was responding to you, you're like, well, so you think, and you would put little extra words in there, and I called you out on some of the words. And I apologize, I don't have exact words to quote, but I can get that for you.
Okay.
But I have a problem with somebody inserting extra words in there, and then you're saying you're just trying to have a logical conversation, and it wasn't the context that I was using. I have a problem with the switching of context.
Okay. Well, that's possible. I mean, I don't mean to misrepresent anyone, but I try to suss out what someone is saying and try to go to a logical conclusion. And if someone says, no, that's not what I mean, I'm happy to say, okay, help me out. Maybe I'm wrong. And I think maybe I did that in the conversation, didn't I?
Nah, you were going on about, you started other arguments involving backing up your argument with going on.
Okay, so you feel like I didn't allow you to express yourself?
Yeah, there was that filtering sensation. Well, it's just like yesterday I noticed that too with watching the video with Michael. There was a lot of that weird, cutoffs and stuff like that. And Michael would come back and, I noticed that there was just this back and forth, but there was a conversation cut off. I noticed that. And we can...
Okay, well, I'd appreciate it if you'd find those and show them to me, because it's certainly possible I could do that. I don't mean to do that. And if I want to change. I want to be better. I don't want to be disingenuous with the way that I interact with people, because it's not helpful. You got to allow people to share their perspective and let the ideas stand on their own. And it's important that we test all ideas. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you should test all ideas. That's why I'm the person I am today, because, I test ideas. I test the philosophical ideas out there too, I mean, we shouldn't have to just obey, just follow some rule because somebody says, hey, it's, like religious ideals, for instance. I test those.
Okay. Well, the Bible says to do that. That's why I do it. It says, test all things, hold fast to that which is true.
Yeah, we should test all things. But, then again, when we're not given a choice to test those things and we're just being told, hey, you're wrong, you're sinful, whatever that is, we're told that it's wrong. And how can we test something when we're told it's wrong?
Well, from your perspective, what is wrong?
Okay.
Are there some things that are wrong?
From your perspective, what you consider sin, what you guys consider as sinful, would be considered wrong, correct?
Yes, from my perspective, yes.
Okay, so there we go. I'm going on that.
What do you consider to be wrong?
Well, I consider things wrong. Well, I have my own basis. Obviously, going around killing people to me is wrong. I mean, obviously. Why? Okay, here we go. So obviously, I wouldn't kill somebody because, to me, and you want to get me to say a human life is valuable, and I do. There is value to us.
Why?
But then again, we go back to the baby thing, and you're going to probably bring that up too, because we know your stances on that. We've talked about this before, Trey.
So you think that humans are intrinsically valuable?
This is where we've talked about it, that one conversation we had in the video. I was just watching that too. It's funny. Humans have value. All things have value. It's about what you place. Everybody has different value placements, though, right? I mean, not everybody's going to value everything equally.
Is human value a fact, though, or is it just an opinion you personally have?
Human value is, it's not something that's a fact, because not everybody values the same thing. Not everybody values human life. It's obvious. You've got people.
Okay, so if someone doesn't value human life, is there something wrong with them?
It's not my place to call it.
Well, don't you believe in the justice system?
Yeah, as long as justice, isn't justice also something that can be what somebody might consider to be justice being served may not seem that way to another person.
Right. So
I mean,
you believe that people should be punished for certain acts that they do?
Should be punished? I believe that we are all accountable for our actions, and there are consequences for that action.
Because you just said that right and wrong is just a personal preference. It's not actually like a standard by which we can judge.
Now, I say right or wrong is something that everybody perceives differently, okay? And we have laws that everybody can, vote, agree upon. Most people, anyways. There are people who don't get a voice out there.
Yeah, but all of those things that we vote on are centered around the sanctity of existence. Would you agree with that? Every law is to sanctify existence. And anybody who disagrees, you say that everybody has different right and wrong. Well, they really don't. Some people are better at finding it, but everybody's seeking the same value. It is to sanctify existence. That's the goal for everybody.
Everybody sanctifies existence, though.
Some people are broken. And some people are not good at discerning, like people who support abortion.
Oh, wow. That is a hell of a claim. That is a hell of a claim.
Well, I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay, I will talk about it. Just because people happen to support abortion does not mean that they don't value life. Okay?
I wouldn't say that at all. I would say that people who support abortion do not value life in certain locations.
Okay, well then you said that extra just now. See, this is what you mean. You add a little bit to it.
Yeah, because I'm adding context, because what you said does not describe me. I need to clarify my own position, shouldn't I?
Well, that's why I was saying what I was saying, to clarify what I was hearing from you, Trey, because it was a slight change. It's kind of like yesterday with Michael.
I don't believe everybody who gets an abortion supports axe murderers. I've never thought that. I've never thought that they have no value for life. That's absolutely not true. Everybody values life. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't eat in the morning.
I mean, there's people who value it, and again, people who don't value it. You read about them all the time. You hear about
Right. And people who don't value, there's something wrong with them. If someone is suicidal, you want to help them to realize that their situation is not as bad as they perceive it to be. Would you agree with that? You want to love them into life.
I tell you, now people that are suicidal doesn't mean that they don't value life. Okay.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I can tell you that right now. And so that's a whole different subject when you approach somebody who's suicidal. And you need to know how to counsel people when they're in and when they're in a crisis state of mind.
For the purpose of saving their life, right?
You want them to, yes, you do. You don't want them to do that. But here's what I have a problem is you were talking about counseling yesterday. We're talking about how you counsel people at Planned Parenthood. But you want to know approaching somebody who's in a very crisis state of mind and you have that carnival barker cone going on. It's loud. And I'm going to tell you somebody like me.
I didn't have the cone.
Well, you usually do. Okay.
I have one, but I very seldom use it.
You seldom use it. How many videos do we see with you? I got even footage. You have that thing up in your mouth going.
I would say probably less than 5% of the time that I'm out there, and that's probably more than that I use that. It's only when people cannot hear me.
Goodness. Oh, I've seen you a lot more than 5% of the time, but I'm not going to argue numbers with you, Trey. I'm just saying that I'll tell you a little something about me. So I'm autistic. I also have that means I have some sensory issues. I'm also have synesthesia. So if somebody out there is being loud, that's why I usually get wild and I can't really focus in conversations at Planned Parenthood. There's a lot going on. I'm overstimmed. I can't really think straight. And somebody is in a crisis state of mind. If they're having all that going on and somebody's yelling, I will adopt your baby. What do you think that's going to do? That's not helpful to them. That's very intimidating.
It's helpful to the baby, is it not, to save its life?
You're not going to help the baby if you can't help the mother. You can't help the mother.
Well, if I can help the mother to not kill the child, then I can help
by
the mother.
Shouting
I can help the baby. By calling out and saying, I'm here for you. I can give you whatever you need.
Well, that's not a loving gesture yelling a bullhorn at somebody like that. I mean, if I'm trying to stop somebody from hurting themselves, I'm not going to go on a bullhorn, yo, value your life, dude.
If that's the only way they can hear you, you will, if you really care about them.
Well, that's not the only way somebody can hear somebody, man. You can approach them in a more compassionate manner.
That's what I say. I hardly ever use the cone. So, if I'm talking to the people inside, I might use the cone, but otherwise I don't really use it.
Do you think the people inside are going to hear you in the cone?
Yeah, they can. We know they can.
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, I've been inside
That's
buildings.
all it takes.
You can't really hear much unless you're outside, to be honest. I think there's people that actually work in Planned Parenthood that talked about that. It's not very clear that comes in if they do hear stuff. Just saying. If you're trying to reach somebody in the building using that method, it's not very effective. I
don't need it to be very effective, Shannon. All I need is some kind of effectiveness to get people to not kill their offspring.
Well, there's other ways to do it besides yelling at somebody, man.
How so?
Talking to somebody. Being out there.
I don't use the
You don't use it a lot. Man, I could go back in the videos and show you where you use more than that.
But how if the videos that you see that I am using that, of the entire amount of time that I'm there, it's a very, very small amount.
I have like a body cam that I wear.
Yeah.
And it's on all the time. So and I usually see you pacing the sidewalk a lot. So I mean, I really don't care to argue numbers. That's just kind of irrelevant to this, man. I'm just saying that kind of tactics. That's why we're out there getting loud, because y'all getting loud. Clifton's out there on his damn PA, womp, womp, womp. How does that make people feel? Shit.
Well, we're not out there to make people feel happy. We're out there to save lives.
That's not making anybody feel happy, man. Like if you're...
I know.
Why don't you guys
We're not there for that.
abortions happen elsewhere. I mean, and man,
why would we go somewhere else than where they're already being performed?
Yeah, I mean, they happen in hospitals and shit. You all ain't out there yelling at people going.
Yeah, but the hospitals is an exception to the rule for Planned Parenthood. That's their cash cow. 30% of their income, other than their charity that they're given, comes from abortion.
Where do you get those numbers from?
I looked them up. The actual cash that they bring in. Now, people want to say it's only 3% of what they do.
It only is 3%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trope that is given, but that's not true. When someone goes in for an abortion, they get several things. They may get a blood test. They may get birth control. They may get a sonogram. They get all these extra things. And so what they do is they judge it by numbers rather than the significance of the service that's being offered. So an analogy would be like at the baseball game, there are 20,000 people watching the game. Yet there are $100,000 or 100,000 hot dogs that are sold, or maybe hot dogs and beer and all that stuff. And you could say, well, baseball is not about baseball. Baseball is about concessions. And that's the kind of trick that they're playing. But if it's true that it's only 3% of their business, why are they all closing their doors when abortion in those places where abortion is greatly restricted? That's not. It just doesn't make any sense.
Because there's some funding that goes away, but also there's other complications there.
Yeah, because 3% though, who cares? Why are they shutting down?
Abortions is not some way they're making the big money. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. It's not. I know people at work.
It's 30% of their income, Shannon, apart from the charity that they raise. That's just and the gimmies they get from the government.
Okay, let me tell you something. I'm just saying, even the Kansas City, Kansas clinic, off Leavenworth Road that you get out to, they don't do abortions there. You know that?
Well, they do now. They just started.
Did they just start?
The guy I was counseling, his wife was there for surgical abortion.
Okay.
Or his
didn't know that. There must have been something they just did. Okay.
They just started it.
All right. I'm just saying, I think some of this stuff, I don't agree that it's like it's not the major thing that they do. They're providing a healthcare service like everybody else. I mean, there's plenty of information.
Yes, but some healthcare, if healthcare takes a human life, it's not healthcare, Shannon.
Oh, it is. It is.
Out of convenience. You think killing people out of convenience is healthcare?
Freaking convenience, Trey. I've told you that before. Like, getting abortion is not like getting a wart removed off your ass. Okay.
That's right. You're killing another human being.
No shit, but you think there is reasons for that?
Yeah.
Plenty of them. We've talked about this.
Close to 90% are all out of convenience of all abortions.
Oh shit! Convenient for who? There ain't no convenience. It's not out of convenience.
Have you looked at the stats, Shannon? If I send you the stats, would you look at them? From Planned Parenthood themselves.
You know what? Show me those stats. I want to see where it says that it's 90% fucking out of convenience.
Less than 3 to 5% of all abortions are done out of rape, incest, and the life of the mother. And the vast majority of them are just because I just want one. That's the reason they get.
You think somebody just gets up and decides that they just want one?
No, I feel oftentimes they feel pressured. I think some do, but I think a lot of them, it's a very difficult decision for them to make, and it's heart-wrenching, but that doesn't make it okay. You can't kill somebody, even if it's hard to do so.
Can't tell somebody what to do with their body either, man.
Is the baby the mother?
Here's that question. Is the baby the mother? What do you think? What do you think?
Well, I don't think the baby is the mother. Genetically, would you agree with that?
The baby is of the mother?
Yes, it comes from the mother and the father.
That's right. And the mother carries the baby in her.
Right. Is the baby the mother, though?
Man, come on. Is the baby the mother? Obviously not. But that does not.
But it's not the mother's body, Shannon.
It is in the mother's body. Sure the hell I've got something.
Is it the mother's body, though?
Okay, I gave birth because I chose to. I also have had an abortion because I chose to. What happens to my body is my choice. Once that child is out, that's a different story.
So you believe in abortion in the 9th month of pregnancy for any reason a woman just deems?
We've had this conversation, man.
Just answer.
Point is, we have a choice with our bodies, man. What happens to that?
Does a woman have the right to kill her baby for any reason in the 9th month?
For any reason?
You said as long as it's in the body, it has no rights.
I think a person has an ability to make a choice, and they need to make an informed choice. I'm not to decide I am not to decide what happens to everybody else, okay? I'm not to tell somebody they got to be forced to have a kid.
What about the person killing the toddler? Do you have a right to tell them what to do?
When a kid's outside the body, that's different.
Oh, so you believe that a child in the 9th month has no rights and you can kill it for any reason?
Was I talking about late-term abortions? No.
Yes, you said as long as it's in the body, it has no rights. Can you not do the logic, my friend? That's what you said.
Okay, can I not do the logic? See, that kind of thing right there?
It just seems so painfully obvious, Shannon, and you know it.
Painfully obvious for what?
That the logic does not hold water. If you say that the child has no rights, as long as it's within the mother's body, then you are saying that a woman can kill her baby at any time for any reason.
Look, if the mother does not want to have a baby, I think the mother has a right to make a choice.
What if the baby's outside the womb then?
Baby's outside the womb? No, obviously not, but that's because it's outside the womb. Once it's outside the womb, it does have rights.
So you agree that 9 months, we should have abortion on demand. There should be no laws restricting abortion.
You know, I might have personal feelings about that.
No,
because
that's what law is made of. What you believe is true.
Right. So, okay, late-term abortions. See, and that's I can't just say that as a general, because there's all kinds of situations. We don't know what's going on in that person's life. But if the person is carrying the baby, and they're not in a mental state of mind to continue on that, they could do other things that would, if they're forced to carry the baby, but who knows what else they'd be doing to try to alleviate their pain, and the baby could come out pretty messed up.
Yeah, but does the baby have any rights though?
Well, I would say this: the mother has control as long as it's in her body.
So you believe that a 9-month woman, there should be no restriction to abortion at all?
I think there needs to be a lot of talk about counseling and stuff like that.
No, I'm not talking about counseling. I'm talking about abortion on demand.
I'm not talking about abortion on demand. I'm not gonna. That to me just seems so
because
illogical.
Your whole perspective falls apart. That's why you don't want to talk about it.
No, it's not my full perspective. I'm just saying I have different feelings when it comes to late-term abortions. Yeah.
Do you have reason when it comes to such a thing? Not feelings.
Do I have, my reasoning is this. So I understand when a baby is early developed on, okay, and they can have a choice, and when it gets to a certain stage, it becomes more complicated, the abortion process.
Okay, so it's not about the location of the baby then. It's the development.
Perhaps. I mean, I'm still going to keep saying it's up to the mother, and I think the mother has a right.
No, you don't say it's up to the mother. You say if she is 9 months pregnant, it's not her business to take that child out of convenience.
I think she needs to have a conversation with her healthcare workers and with people to talk about.
Do you think the law should allow her to do that for any reason?
Should the law allow that? I think they should have I think there should be a free ability to choose, but it has to be like a conversation to be had. I can't just say yes, and I can't just say no to it, because there's a lot of things in that mix, in that equation, that needs to have. Conversations need to happen first. I can't just say, oh yeah, because it's a lot more complicated than that.
Okay, so you don't believe that because the baby is in the mother's womb, therefore it has no rights. That's what you said earlier, but you don't believe that now.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even if for a person to have an abortion, it's a conversation to be had. Okay? You have to talk to people and find out where you're at for that, what's going on, because there's different situations. Don't try to shoot holes in my stuff, dude, because
that's what we're here for, Shannon. We're here to test our ideas, which you said you like to do.
I am testing this idea, but it's not an idea. I'm trying to say that people have the right to choose bodily autonomy, what happens in their body.
What about the autonomy of the baby?
That's right. And they need, but the mother is carrying it. It's up to the mother is basically a host to this baby.
That's true.
We have to choose what's going on. We have to have this choice in it. We can't be forced that shit.
Okay.
If we force somebody to do it, bad things are going to happen.
Okay, Shannon, do you believe that a mother has a responsibility to care for her child legally?
You know what? Here's the thing. When they don't, the mother has an option to choose what happens to the child. They want to adopt it.
So a mother can leave her child in the forest to starve, and that's okay.
Oh, geez. Here you are twisting some shit. That's just really...
No, I'm just trying to think.
No. Obviously, there's child abuse, you know, and I'm not one to...
So if a mother does not meet the basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter of her child, she is guilty of neglect and is culpable before the law.
That's right.
So how is that different than a mother who has a baby in her womb?
How is that different than a mother who has a baby in the womb?
Mm-hmm. She still is responsible for her child, to care for it, to make sure that it's fed.
And she did the responsible thing if she got an abortion, man, and she felt like she couldn't go through with it, rather than neglecting the baby and leaving it in some woods or abusing it.
Okay, then she should be guilty because she did not take care of the needs of her child. She killed the child.
Yeah, that's not how that works, man. That's not how
where's my logic missing?
Because you're talking about a woman making a choice inside her womb, when the baby's still in her womb, versus the baby being outside of the womb.
Okay, so again, we go back to the same thing, location, but you've already told me that location is not the issue because you believe that late-term abortions should not be...
You told me that location wasn't the issue. I didn't say it. You're drawing conclusions based on my responses.
No, you won't admit it, but you're implying that somehow that a child has rights when it's a certain age in the womb and it's still in the womb. You're saying you're not admitting it, but everybody's watching this can see that you know that the location is not the issue for you. You said a late-term abortion should not be open to killing the child for any reason.
I said it's a conversation that needs to be had between the doctor.
But it doesn't need a conversation if its location is the issue. You should just say, yes, all babies should be allowed to be killed.
It's not that simple as location. It's not that simple.
You just said it was, Shannon.
No, you're the one who's talking about location. I did not.
No, you are. You're the one who broached the topic. You said it's location that matters. It's in the mother's body, therefore the mother can do whatever she wants.
I was talking about a conversation that needs to happen. You keep going back to location and shit, and then you keep saying that I'm saying this. I'm just saying it's a conversation for late-term abortions especially. There could be many reasons at any point of the pregnancy the mother may not want to have that baby. And that has to have a conversation. It's not something I can decide and say, yeah, they should or shouldn't. That's their body, man.
Yeah, but you already admitted the baby is not the body. The baby is not the mother's body. It's a different person.
It is, but it's in the mother's body. It's still relying on that mother to supply it and to care for it.
That is true, but a mother has a responsibility to care for her children. You've already admitted that.
Outside of the womb, sure. But I mean, even in, there's even some things.
So at 9 months, the woman can kill the baby for any reason.
I didn't say for any reason. Why are you inserting all this shit? I said it's a conversation that needs to be had. How many times
we're having a conversation, my friend.
That?
And we're having that conversation.
I know,
and
but I'm saying
you to give me the reason for your perspective, and you can't do it.
What? Now that's gaslighting as hell, dude. Come on. We can do better than that. We don't have to gaslight.
Shannon, I am not gaslighting you at all. I am trying to reason with you with the facts, and you're contradicting yourself. And I'm simply pointing it out, and you're getting upset.
I'm not contradicting myself. I'm trying to clarify the same shit. It's a conversation that needs to be had, and you keep saying, well, you this, and this, that. I'm like, no.
Okay.
No.
Do you feel like I'm giving you the opportunity to be able to share your perspective without shutting you down?
to an extent, but then you put these words in there that I'm like, you're trying to draw these conclusions, and I'm like, it's not as simple. And I keep saying it's not as simple as what you're
Yes, but
saying.
if it's not as simple, then you need to justify your claim, and you're not doing that. If
I
I
am
make
saying
a
it's a
claim and you don't rebut it, then my claim stands. You can't just say, "Oh, it's
Why are
complicated."
you
That's not an
now
answer.
trying to educate me on how the rules of argument go? Like I'm stupid. See, this
Well, I
is
don't
a
mean to say
problem I
that.
have, is that you act like you're better than everybody, man, and trying to tell you something, and you just find ways to just fucking. When I say it's
Okay.
a conversation that needs to be had, and I can't say it's a simple yes or no, that's
Mhm.
exactly what I meant. It's not something else to draw conclusions from.
Okay.
It's
All right.
it's a conversation because everybody's situation is different, Trey. I can't say what works for one person, it's gonna work for the next person. It's
Sure.
not simple like that to me.
Okay. Well, I will grant you there are difficulties and there are extenuating circumstances, and all these things
Yes.
need to be brought in. I agree with that. But at a general principle, I don't think you should be allowed to kill people out of convenience. I just don't think that's the right
Well,
thing to
I'm not
do.
saying that we're gonna go around killing everybody for convenience, although
Well, you
there are
believe if they're
different
in the
kinds of
body, they can be
people.
killed.
Yeah. I'm not, you eat, don't you? You kill out of convenience to eat food.
Yeah, but those are not
You eat meat,
humans.
do you?
I'm talking about the image of God. We don't kill the image of God out of convenience.
Well, if you believe that's what people are, the image of God.
Well, do you believe that life matters? You've already said that they do, but how do you
Yeah, life
justify that?
matters, but it's not because I think they're the image of God. I don't believe in that crap.
Uh-oh, we had a lock up there, hopefully. I'm sorry, Shannon, you cut out there. It froze up. I don't know if that's me or you.
That's all right. I was just saying, I find value in people, but it's not because I think that they're in an image of some God or anything. It's just
Okay,
because I respect people
okay,
as a
but do you
general rule.
believe that human life is fortuitous? It's an accident. There's no purpose to life.
Do I believe it's an accident?
Yeah.
Yeah. Life comes about. I mean, there's a lot of debates, a lot of discussions out there. I don't
Is
believe in creationism.
okay, is your life more important or more valuable than, say, a rock?
In a rock?
Mhm.
Well, I would like to think so. There might be
Why?
some people who differ, might say, but
But
I like
and
to
that's what
think
we got to
so.
do. We got to reason. Why do you believe that?
Why do I believe it?
Mhm.
Because here I am. I think I'm more important than a rock.
Yeah, but who are you to judge?
I don't need to have authority from anybody else to claim value for my own self. I don't need to
Okay.
believe in
Well, yeah,
some
but
God.
you need to have a reason to justify why you think life exists when it really doesn't matter. The Darwinian synthesis does not give teleology or purpose to life.
I
There is no
care about
purpose in the
people
Darwinian sense. I'm sorry?
because I feel I care about people. I
Okay,
form relations.
okay, well, you have a feeling that that life matters, but do you have a reason for why life matters?
Do I have a reason?
Mhm.
I care about people. I love people.
Yes.
I respect people that respect me, of course. I it matters. People matter. Why do I have to have some sort of, I don't know, some sort of weird ideation about a God to have that, feeling? That's
Well,
what I'm wondering.
if there's no objective value or there's no objective value, and you have to tell me why is it that you're programmed to value existence unintentionally? How did that come about? How did you somehow evolve to value existence when that which gave rise to you doesn't value? It's a contradiction.
Well,
It's called the law
actually,
of identity. I'm sorry?
my interactions with people, have taught me to care about people.
Yeah,
Have
but
I
it's
had
because
times
we
in my
all have
life
this
where I
sense
didn't?
within us that life matters. We all have this. We all been determined to value existence. Do you
Do we
believe
all
you're
have that
determined to
sense?
value existence? I'm sorry?
I mean, do we all have that sense? Or are we
Well,
just
some people are
innately
broken.
born?
I mean, we both agree with that, right? Some people like
Some
to
people are
cut people
broken.
up. Yeah. But that's what we say. We say if someone doesn't value existence, they're broken and they need help or they need to be put away so that they can't damage other people. We all know that. Where does that come from? Where does this idea that life is special when it's really not special? It's a lie that we impose. But why is it that everybody is programmed that way unless they're broken?
people actually care about, they form caring relationships with
But
one
why?
another.
Where
And
does that come from?
I believe that becomes from their interactions with everybody. We
No,
interact
they're
with one
born that
another.
way. Everybody's born that way, Shannon. Some people are broken. We're determined to value existence, but existence doesn't matter. It doesn't have value. Where does that come from?
It comes, like I keep saying, it just comes, all I can do is answer for my own self and my own experiences. And all I can say is just the interactions. That's all I
Okay.
could tell you.
All right.
If you want
Well,
something deeper than that, then, that's where you guys reach me for something more. But I'm just satisfied with knowing that my interactions with people help build relationships and help form my opinions on whether, life has value. You learn that. I believe you do. Something you learn to value life. It's not something I think is automatically understood. I don't know how many times I've seen a little kid take a hold of an animal and get a little rough with it and have to be told, no, you're
sure.
going to hurt it. I mean, my boy, when he was young, he walked up and he was just, being reactive. He wasn't thinking,
Sure.
grab the cat and whoop by the tail, and I'm like, oh no, you're going to hurt the kitty. And I've taken care of other little ones, and they've had same things. They had to be taught, be gentle. This is important. You're hurting. It's not something they automatically learned. It's not something they automatically knew. I'm sorry, wrong choice of words. I meant to say it's not something they automatically knew. They had to learn. Empathy gets developed later. And I believe people develop that empathy through their interactions with people. Let's say if you've been isolated all your life, are you going to be empathetic and really value all that life around you automatically? Or you're going to have a pretty skewed view of it,
Yeah, but I think we all are determined to value existence from the womb. I think that God has instilled that in us. But
It's
listen,
nice when you think that way, but that's because it's taught to you in your religion that
no, it's
God
reasoned
instilled
by
that.
me. I reason it.
You
It's
reason
the
that.
reasonable thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you also said that's something that God tells you. And there
Well,
again,
we have it written on our hearts. We know that value existence is
and
is
that's how your
special.
beliefs are. And that's how your
That's
beliefs
not my belief, it's my knowledge. But listen, Shannon, do you think that I care for you?
I don't know.
Well, if I told you that I do care for you, would you believe me?
I'm not the one to decide what the validity of your feelings are, Trey.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that I do care for you. And I pray for you from time to time. And I want to see your blessing and your benefit and see you flourish.
Well, I'm flourishing, baby. That's quite all right. And I appreciate the gesture. I just would like to see people not feel so oppressed when they're trying to go into Planned Parenthood. People, you can believe what they want, okay? I'm not going to dictate that.
But you're
That's not my
dictating what
place.
I'm allowed to believe.
Right, but we can do it in a way that's not going to obstruct others.
Yes, but you're trying to obstruct me.
Because you're obstructing other people trying
Okay,
to
so
get
you
help.
believe in obstruction. When somebody does something wrong, they should be obstructed, right?
Well, gosh, if they're standing outside of a healthcare facility carrying on, well, yeah, I'm going to say, hey,
What if
man.
I were standing outside of Auschwitz and I were telling them to opposing what's going on
Come
there?
on, dude. Okay, here we go. I know you're doing just what you believe in. I get it. We don't need to compare Planned Parenthood to fucking Auschwitz. I see what you're trying to go, and I know you're doing what you believe in, just as I'm doing what I believe in when I show up there. I wish to fuck there was a different way to go about it. Excuse me. I'm trying not to be too dang vulgar on here because I get a
I
lot of
appreciate
people watch it,
it.
and I want people to pay attention to what's being said.
Hmm.
There should be a better way to go about doing this than to stand out in front of places and create a commotion. There's a time we need to act, but I hate fucking having these getting out there. And when people are going into Planned Parenthood, as one who has gotten an abortion, and I had to walk past some people out there, and I know how it made me feel. I hate I hate to think of other people going through that. And I know that sorry. I lose my train of thought, and I apologize.
What's
I
up?
think you understand. I don't like to go these yelling matches, but I would be damned if somebody's going to tell somebody they can't get taken care of with their health in any manner. If it's a baby they don't want to have, then they don't need to have the baby. They don't need to have it. If they want to know alternatives, do you think that nobody has that conversation with them in there when they're inside Planned Parenthood of their alternatives? Are they not made aware? Do you think that they don't tell them about their alternatives at all?
Well, I don't think that they should ever tell a woman that she can kill her baby with impunity, no matter what.
Well, I mean, they educate them inside of Planned Parenthood, you know.
Yeah, they educate them toward their view that abortion
They
is
don't try to
acceptable.
say, go have an abortion. They try to talk to them and see
They
exactly where they're at.
if they Shannon, if they offer it as a viable option, they're doing wrong.
I don't see, again, this is some forced stuff. It's like doing it with
Okay.
livestock.
Listen, Shannon, I got to go. I got to get to work. But you have been very kind, and you've had a very thoughtful and respectful interaction with me. Every time we've actually had a conversation, I mean, there's always a lot of yelling and stuff goes on, but whenever we have stopped and had a conversation, it's always been a pleasant experience for me. And I thank you for that. And I think that's what we need to do in our country. People who have differing ideas, we need to be willing to slow down enough to actually listen to our opponents and consider their perspectives and not just bulldoze them with hatred or vitriol. And it happens on all sides. And I think that the only way we're going to survive as a country is if we can come together and we can listen to each other's perspective and let their perspective stand on the merits of the logical coherence that it embodies. And so I feel like that's what we've done here. We've been able to share our ideas, and I thank you for that. And I look forward to maybe chatting with you again in the future.
All right, man.
Okay. Thanks, Shannon.
One.
All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.